Well, it's personal between me and you, and I'm going to do you some serious harm, you big stiff idiot.
The Untouchable True School Sports Empire proudly presents something the boxing game's been missing. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Now, I wanted to talk about a fight that took place this past weekend. It wasn't a fight that was highly publicized or anything like that. But, I feel like, here on YouTube, you guys see the hoodie. You guys see the True School Sports logo. It's got the palm trees. It's got the sun. It's got the Vice City colors. So, if you know anything about what that logo represents the place that I'm from, South Florida, a place that I hold near and dear to my heart. The Tri-County area of South Florida. West Palm Beach, Broward County, Dade County, Miami-Dade County. That's where I'm from. And I feel like, I have a responsibility to cover South Florida boxing, the South Florida fighters as much as I can. Whenever I get the opportunity, I have to cover them. So that's what we're doing. And we're covering, right now, this video, Lawrence Newton. Lawrence BT Newton, bantamweight prospect, budding contender. He's someone that has long, in my opinion, been one of the most, if not the most talented fighter from South Florida. Not, any fighter, that includes Teofimo, that includes Xander Zayas, that includes Dominique Francis, just anybody you can think of from that area that's a product of the South Florida boxing scene. I feel like he's in that same class as those guys. A great fighter, an awesome fighter. He had a fight this past weekend, and it was for the NABA title. His first regional title in his career. He fought for the NABA Bantamweight title. And the significance of that title, for those that don't know, is that if you win titles like these, you win these titles and they get you ranking positioning in certain sanctioning bodies. So with the NABA, if you win the NABA, you get ranking positioning within the WBA, right? So Lawrence Newton, he won the fight. He fought a tough Mexican fighter who was 10-2-1 with 3 knockouts coming into the fight, named Mario Hernandez. Mario Hernandez has fought the fight before, his last fight before this was in 2020. Mario Hernandez fought prospect Saul Sanchez, who in his recent fight, he just knocked out Jericho O'Quinn on Showtime. So he's been in the ring with some guys that are at a good level, and it was a good barometer for Newton to showcase what he could do. Tough Mexican fighter, likes to be in your face and grind you down and smother you and come forward. And it was the kind of fight, for a guy like Newton, Lawrence Newton, he was coming in with some activity himself. He hadn't boxed for about a year and a half, 2 years. It was the kind of fight where if, for being on such a long layoff, you were going to be tested. Your stamina was going to be tested. And I think in this fight, we saw glimpses of what Lawrence Newton could be. Like, he looked really good in this fight. Pivoting around Mario Hernandez. He was landing a very solid straight right hand many times in the fight. He showed a great educated jab, whether it be the straight jab, the up jab, a feint in a jab. He showed a lot of things that make people rate him so highly. Like I did a prospect review video about him a couple years ago, and I called Lawrence Newton a mini Terrence Crawford. Now, what I mean by that is, like, he's, first of all, he's not, I don't think he's as devastating as Terrence Crawford. I don't think Lawrence Newton can knock people out the way Crawford can, or finish guys like Crawford can. But the one Crawford-esque thing he does have about him is understanding of range and how to take things away from opponents and do what he wants. He was actually in Crawford's camp a couple years ago, and they know each other. So he probably picked up some things from Crawford himself, and he just knows how to defuse fighters. And this was a good fight for him because Hernandez gave him what he needed. He gave him that rugged style that was going to test his stamina, and he looked exhausted at points in this fight. But then, some around the 8th or 9th round, he caught a second wind, and in the 9th round, he boxed the best round of the fight in the 9th round, which I think is a good sign because it shows that he's not a front runner. Sometimes these guys who have these silky smooth boxing skills, they box 2, 3, 4 rounds really good, and then you get them to the 5th, 6th, 7th round, and they don't have nothing. They had nothing left. They're front runners. I don't think he's a front runner. This fight showed that, and just overall a good win for him to capture his first regional title. And now with that, he's gonna break into the top 15 of those WBA rankings, and that's good for Lawrence, because I feel like with that happening now, he can now get his career on track to where it needs to be, because he's been one of, like, the best fighters in South Florida for such a long time. Decorated amateur, had a long amateur career. He just hasn't been able to be as active in those fights that we need to see him in. He was most people don't know, but he was scheduled to fight on the Inoue versus Casemiro undercard. That fell through because of COVID. That, I think, would have been his breakout performance and his breakout time. But, God has a plan. It wasn't his time. So now he's going to go through the rankings. And right now, the monster, Naoya Inoue, holds that strap. I don't know how long he plans to stay at 118. But I think by the time Lawrence Newman gets up there, the monster won't even be there. And I'll tell you this. If he is up there, I'll tell you this. Lawrence Newman definitely showed some things he's got to work on in this fight. But there was a couple rounds where I saw things that make me believe that he's the best fighter from South Florida. And it's not T.O., it's not Dominique Francis. All respect to I love Trap, but it's not Dominique Francis. It's not anybody else. It's Lawrence Newman, and it's always been Lawrence Newman with me. Lawrence Newman is a really good fighter and an amazing fighter. And I think, hey, if the monster's still there, then let it be the monster. The monster, like Lawrence Newman, is very tall for that weight class. He can box and move really well. He can pivot really well. He's got a really good straight right hand. I think there's some stylistic things he could do with the monster in the ring. He has to get a lot sharper and get more match fit. But just a really talented fighter. And I'll tell you guys this. I don't know when, I don't know against who, and I don't know where. But I think if he can just get active now that he's going to be in these rankings, if he gets active, gets a couple fights under his belt, I don't think it's far-fetched that Lawrence Newman could be a world champion within the next 18 months. I really think Lawrence Newman could be a world champion within the next year and a half because I think he's got that kind of ability. I think he's one of the smartest fighters out there. It's like these fighters, there's a lot of talented fighters from South Florida. Like you got like Xander Zayas, who's obviously, with top rank, but he's a South Florida fighter. Tiafimo's from South Florida. Dominique Francis is from South Florida. Aaron Aponte, who signed with the Zone, is from South Florida. These are all talented guys. And a lot of these guys, they punch harder than Lawrence Newman. They might be more athletic than Lawrence Newman. They might even be funner to watch than Lawrence Newman. They might be, they might have a lot of things they do more than Lawrence Newman. But I'll tell you one thing. When it comes to who's the smartest of all those people, the smartest, the sharpest, with the highest boxing IQ is Lawrence Newman. And that's why I think, that's why I put him up there. I don't think many people from South Florida or in the bantamweight division have his boxing brain. And I think he'll show that as time goes on, and he will be a world champion. So, good win for him. Just wanted to make this video to show him some love because if nobody else covers these fights, if I don't cover these fights, nobody else will. And this performance and the fight and what happened and how it affects the bantamweight division, it'll all fall on deaf ears, and people will say, oh, well, when he wins a world title, oh, well, this guy came from nowhere. Well, no, he didn't come from nowhere. If you were watching True School Sports, you would know about Lawrence Newman. So, shout out to Lawrence Newman. Lawrence BT Newman, because for those that don't know, his nickname is BT, and it's short for big time. So, look, if there's one fighter from South Florida that's allowed to be called BT, and then I'm glad his nickname is BT, I'm glad it's him because he can fight his ass off. And I'm looking forward to big things from Lawrence Newman as his career progresses in the future. So, yeah, man. Leave your comments down below. Make sure you take the time to subscribe. And like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Daniel. So until next time, take care, guys. Thank you for watching another video on True School Sports, the home of boxing. If you made it this far, do me a favor and do yourself a damn favor. Hit that subscribe button and surely you will not be disappointed. True School Sports bringing you the latest and greatest, the untouchable, boxing content, interviews, news videos, breakdowns, live fight reaction extravaganza. We've got a great community of people here, boxing fans all over the world, from America to the UK to Australia and on and on and on. So join the empire today. Hit that subscribe button. Take care and God bless.